Good day, dear members of the Dissertation Council, colleagues, partners of the Dissertation Council for the Group of Education Program 6D060900, 8D05202 Geography, 6D06080, 8D05207 Ecology, 6D061 8D05203 Hydrology, 6D071100, 8D07301 Geodesy, 6D09020, 8D11101 Tourism, 8D05204 Meteorology, 8D01503 Geography, 8D07302 Geoinformatics. At Al-Farabi National University, at the dissertation of Isполова A.R. on the topic assessment of the contribution of oil and gas production complex to the formation of the ecological state of Mangistau region. Submitted for the degree of Doctors of Philosophy, PhD, in the education program 6D06080 Ecology. The permanent composition of the Dissertation Council was approved by order 435 of September 2024, used by the Chair of the Board, Director of the Al-Farabi National University, according to the regulation of the Dissertation Council of Al-Farabi National University. 4 members of the Dissertation Council serve from members. The remaining 3 members are appointed on a temporary basis for the period of the doctoral candidates defense depending on the topic of the doctoral research. 7 members of the Dissertation Council are present today's meeting. Permanent members of the Dissertation Council. Second Declan Chairman, candidate of Geography Science, Associate Professor, Dean of the Faculty of Geography and Environment Science of Al-Farabi National University. Good day, everyone. Tarikov Vitaly Grigoris, Deputy Chairman, Doctor of the Geography of Science, Professor of the Department of Meteorology and Hydrology of Al-Farabi National University.
I'm here. Good day, everyone.
Thank you. Mateo Akhmetov Rahmatullaevich, Doctor of Geography Science, Professor, Chairman of the Board of Institute of Geography and Water Science, National Academic.
Osunda mı?
Salamat var.
Selamat olsun.
Musa Garibaycan Aniyazbekov, Scientific Secretary, PhD Associate Professor of the Department of Geography, Land Management and Cadastry of Al-Farabi National University. Good day, I'm here. Temporary members of the Dissertation Council, Satabaldeva Gulmira Kalmashovna, candidate of Biology Science, Associate Professor, Head of the Department of Ecology, Faculty of the Forestry, Wildlife and Environmental Studies, Seyfulin Kazakh Agro-Technical Research University, Astana, Kazakhstan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Karimov Bakhtiyar Kuramboyevich, Doctor of Biology Science, Professor of the Department of Ecology and Water Resources Management, Tashkent Institute of Irrigation and Agriculture, Mechanization Engineers, Tashkent, Uzbekistan.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Dr. Mukhtar, PhD Associate Professor of the Department of Mining, Surveying and Geodesy, Barpanurov Institute of Mining and Metallurgy, Kazakh National Research Technical University, Almaty, Kazakhstan. Tohtar Murat,
Osundamın.
саламатсызбы. Official reviewers. Lopatska Olga Gennadievna, Doctor of Biology Sciences, Professor of the Department of Soil Science and Land Resource Assessment, Faculty of Biology and Soil Science, Irkutsk State University, Specialty 03 12 30 Soil Science, Irkutsk Russian Federation.
Nice to meet you. Good afternoon.
Olga Gennadievna.
Yes. Fine.
On your I don't have your phone. Please. Вас плохо слышно. Может быть, вы громкость увеличите?
Okay.
Good day, yes.
Я включила его.
Все, слышно.
Ага. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for your time. Selhan Aynur Selhan-kızı, PhD, Head of the Department of State Technical Expertise, Joint Stock Company, National Center for State Scientific and Technical Expertise, Specialty 6D 060800 Ecology, Almaty, Kazakhstan.
Hi everyone, I'm here. I'm Selhan Aynur. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Dear members of the Dissertation Council, in accordance with the proceeding of this meeting, all preliminary examinations have been completed. It is necessary to note that a quorum is present. More than 2/3 of the members of the Dissertation Committee are present. The temporary members of the Dissertation Council and the official reviewer are also present. On the agenda of this meeting is the defense of Есполаева А.Р. dissertation on the topic assessment of the contribution of oil and gas production complex to the formation of the ecological state of Mangostau region in the education program 6D 060800 ecology. The work was carried out of the UNESCO in Sustainable Development Department at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. Scientific consults Pavlichenko Lyudmila Mikhailovna, Doctor of Geography Science, Professor of the Department of Recreation, Geography and Tourism, Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Almaty, Kazakhstan. Здравствуйте. Howard Jones, a PhD Associate Professor, Faculty of National Science, School of the Science and Technology, Middlesex University, London, United Kingdom. The foreign scientific consult is unable due to technical reasons. The dissertation work has been presented to defense for the first time. All members of the dissertation council have materials and have had enough time to familiarize themselves with the content of a dissertation work. Two members of the dissertation committee have questions regular and the agenda. You have any question for our today question? Maybe you will have some comments.
Don't have.
Don't have, thank you. The floor given to the scientific secretary Ayzan Yazbek Musagalina to read all the document available in the applicant personal file.
Thank you. Dear members of Dissertation Council and distinguished attendees, I present to your attention the information about the applicant. Есполаева А.Р. enrolled in biology undergraduate program at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University in 2005 and graduated in 2009. In 2009, enrolled in biology master's program at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University and graduated in 2011. In 2013, she entered the PhD program at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, specializing in 6D 060800 Ecology. At present, she works as the deputy head of the Department of Academic Affairs at Asfandiarov Kazakh National Medical University. The personal file of Aygirim Есполаева contains the following documents. A request addressed to the rector of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, extract from the meeting of the Academic Council of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University approving the dissertation topic and scientific supervisors, copies of diplomas of higher and postgraduate education, a copy of the transcript of the doctoral program certified by the place of study, the dissertation in 2 hardbound copies and in electronic format, abstracts in Kazakh, Russian, and English, reviews from domestic and foreign supervisors, protocol of the enlarged meeting at the Department of UNESCO for Sustainable Development of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, dated the 3rd of June, 2025, with a positive conclusion from the department approved by the member of the Board of Vice Rector for Scientific and Innovative Activities of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. A list of scientific works on the dissertation topic and their copies, reviews from 2 official reviewers, a certificate issued by the National Center for State Scientific and Technical Expertise confirming the plagiarism check of the dissertation for the use of borrowed material without proper station, the conclusion of the local ethics committee of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, and a personal record sheet certified by the Human Resources Department at the candidate's place of employment. On the topic of the dissertation, 19 works have been published, including 2 articles in top-ranked journals included in the Scopus and Web of Science databases, 9 articles in publications recommended by the Committee for Quality Assurance in Science and Higher Education, 7 articles in the Proceedings of International Conference, and 1 monograph. The materials submitted by the candidate Aygirim Есполаева comply with the dissertation defense requirements of the Committee for Quality Assurance in Science and Higher Education of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan. She is allowed to defend her dissertation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayjan Yazbekov. The members of the dissertation council have questions for the scientific secretary regarding the dissertation candidate's certificate file. Dear members, you have some question for our Ayjan Yazbekovna? No. If there are no questions, the floor is given to the applicant to present the content of the dissertation work. You are given 20 minutes, please.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for attraction. Thank you for being here today. My topic is about assessment of the contribution of the oil gas contraction complex of the formation of ecological state of the Mangistau region. Relevance of the before start of this, my research, content of the research means relevance of the study, purpose of the study, research methods and the conclusions I have given, theoretical and methodical method, grid-based metals method, vegetation, spices and the soil assessment method, practical significance, novelty end of the research and the conclusions. Relevance of the study. It's you know why it's this research it's important. Nowadays, solving these problems, ecological problems, It's based all this relevance of the study means independent environmental assessment based on monitoring data, total impact across all sectors, but don't specify individual sectors' contribution to the pollution. You know, it's you can't to solve these problems. It's based on this ecological situation, including, for example, to the solving protected this ecological situation. Significance of the study: determining the oil and gas production complex role amongst our region, environmental situation is scientifically and practically significant. To the study addresses new theoretical challenges in ecology, solving the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment. Purpose of the study is develop a method for independently assessment of the oil gas industry contribution to the anthropogenic disturbances amongst our region. This method is intended to support the ecological economical principle of the polluter pays. But you know, you can to recognizing of individual sectors to the overall pollution of economical situation. In the focus, supports the ecological and economical principle of the polluter pays, will quantify the impact from the all sources, including the oil and the gas sector. Object of the study is the ecological state of the amongst our region. Research tasks assess the current ecological economical state of the amongst our region, connection with the development of oil gas production complexes, analyzing the theoretical and methodical multidimensional modern use of evaluated oil gas production contribution, provides a generalized assessment of the oil gas production environmental impact based on atlas maps, and develop grid-based models conducted differentiated assessment oil gas production influence on environmental components. Compare file study results with published findings regarding the oil gas production roles in shaping the regions of environmental conditions. Research methods: you have used several methods. One of these methods means called objective functions. For constructing of objective function, you have used specialty mathematical models, which are called objective function with by authors Pentel. And the second methods, which are called RGIS methods, this geographical one of these methods, and the analysis of this inventory regulatory with the published sources, and the GRADE model, which for recognizing of individual sectors distribution for recognizing. Also, you have used one of these methods, which are called geoecological analysis. If you take this basis of these methods, you can divide it into three methods. First one, it's called theoretical and methodical for construction multidimensional objective functions to assess the contribution of the oil and the gas sector to environmental condition of natural companions they are examined. In this, by this method, you have recognizing of individual sectors, how distributed of this impact into intervention. And secondly, you have used the second method, which are called grid-based models. Grid-based models we can separating into blocks. And research methods means through this felt data, which are called soil vegetation samples, were collected from the protection zone, which are called data. State of the amongst our regions development of oil gas complex. The role of the oil gas complex in the regions, you know, now it's nowadays one of these problems, which including this amongst our regions. This is one of these problems: high dependence of the regional economy oil gas sector, increased investment activity in development of new deposits, significant impact of industrial activities on the natural environment, and the presence of resources development of careful environmental management. If you from these slides, it's here you can see for recognizing of individual distribution of amongst our region, you have used initial materials. It's like atlas of the amongst our region. From this atlas of amongst our region was taken three impact maps, which anthropogenic impact of this relief, anthropogenic impact of the water, and anthropogenic of the plants. And also you have taken off this inventory map of the sources of impact onto the map, anthropogenic on the relief. And these maps we can see according to this elegance, we saw high distribution of this Mangostal region, high pollution of this Mangostal region. It's a hub. Hub. We can see several types of components of pollutions. And by the if this was from this map was taken off using ArcGIS, you have taken off areas of distribution areas with by contours with separating off into several areas calculated on the distribution of the impact levels with oil gas production complex. The final date for the objective functions we obtain it by signing the areas of the first across entire the region of these oil gas production complexes. From these slides was given how was taken through this methods of this GIS methods, fragment of this anthropogenic transformation of this vegetation. We have overlaying of this was taken solution contours from this inventory map and overlaying of this map into the fragments of this anthropogenic transformation of this vegetation. For recognizing of, for identifying of how it's distributed of each sectors of environmental situation of this Mangostal region, you have used specialty mathematical models which are used with by authors which are called PENTEL. This PENTEL, this means complex ecological assessment, was taken, for example, with by formulated summit with by each environmental factor, and also it's including how important each factor of the influence, positive or negative. And calculated these factors in assessment maps. If you all these assessment maps, including of 5 levels of distribution, which are called minor or transformation, 0 to 10. If you take, we calculated according into these levels of distribution. Anti-starved, for example, means no transformation was given 0 to 10. If you take for the 0 and 2, and for the level of weak transformation 4 to 10, 4 to 4, and for the level of moderate transformation 4 to 6, and 6, 8, 8 2 points. You know, if you take interpreted assessment of these regions, it's not important only disturbance of anthropogenic disturbance, also including this, it will be positive or negative. So depending on this influence of positive and negative, you have take these 2 points. It's 2 points, and so anti-starved you have given it's a low level of transformation calculated into the 2 points. In next slides, it's here we can see how we've calculated of this provide environmental assessment through these methods with by used PENTEL, which called, for example, you have taken of this average of these points between the 2 and 4, you know, 3 and 5, 7 is like 9, and you recognizing or provide environmental assessment of this each assessment map from the each assessment maps. And next slides, it's here we can see also we have recognizing of partial target function of using the 10 point of this scale. You have used the same this formula, and generally, firstly, you have recognizing of total components, relief region, for example, and then each components for recognizing you use these methods, this formula, and firstly, after recognizing or provide objective functions, you have recognizing of oil gas sectors and take out from the provide environmental inverse problem. You take this from this relative oil gas production complex and these relief regions. So using these methods, you have taken calculated this information. You have take look in the slides. We saw the proportion of the contours with oil gas production complex was given 1.1 to 11%, and the high strong process was showing it's a 20 with by points. If you take 20% with by points, you know it's here also. If you take morphology, these slides, it's here you can see how it's calculated of this oil gas overlaying of this the parts of anthropogenic impact on the relief, and total area it's given it's a 1.2 and a strong 20.1. Using this next slides, it's here you can see assessments of this relief, which overlaying of this into this anthropogenic impact into the components, distribution components, overlaying into these maps of general sources of relief maps. From these slides, it's here you can see, as you know, you have using of these methods, you have recognizing of also average weighted of assessment anthropogenic disturbance of the relief was given 575, and additional oil gas disturbance of the territory of the Mangstau region. This was given with by oil gas production complex was given 18%. Next slides, we saw anthropogenic distribution into these soils. And looking at the slides, it's here we can see the proportion of area with by contrast was given 1.4 and strong 41, 22%. Contribution of this relief, it's showing from this between 0.7 and 10.36. It's a distribution of this anthropogenic transformation of generalized with by generalized methods. We can see this highly disturbance of the parts with by oil gas production complex. From the degradation of the soil of the Mangstau region, in additional contribution of the soil degradation of the Mangstau region was given 90%, 31. So conclusion, the first method, it's here you can see, if you take this calculated with by this specialty formula, environmental impact from the oil gas production alone is relatively low, but it becomes much higher with the other sources of human activity. And the contribution is zones where we saw disturbance of the anthropogenic impact, disturbance of the relief was 17%, degradation of the soil 70%, and disturbance of the vegetation was given 32%, and disturbance of the groundwater 25%. And looking at the slides, we saw in the disturbance of the relief and the soil less than vegetation and groundwater. From the next methods, you have using specialty integral objective functions. Features these integral objective functions, you can recognizing using this general calculation information, you can recognizing of integral objective functions. This means each distribution of each sectors you can recognizing of using this atlas of this Mangstau region. And from these slides we saw a region, soil vegetation, and we saw how it's you calculated into this 0.24 into 0.24 and 0.28. You know before that high distribution was given vegetation and less of other components, for example, relief and the soil, and also region vegetation in the soil. It's here, so we can take this these calculation marks. From the recognizing of individual sectors, you used grid model of the inventory maps of oil gas production complex, was separating into several blocks. These blocks means into several cells. These features of these methods, you can recognizing of total individual sectors contribution. And so we saw this grid model of inventory map and the grid model of this anthropogenic impact, how distributed of, for example, these regions. Next slides, the three level of anthropogenic disturbance of this groundwater, and according to these slides, was using specialty methods of this his methods for these methods. It's the importance calculated of automatically can calculate it and automatically can calculate of this average of these contours. Integral objective functions constructed in similar manner of this following represents. It's here tag. These slides we saw recognizing of distribution percentage of through these grid models was given the name of these blocks from the A5 to C6. And we saw the oil gas extraction complex average of the block, gas extraction of the block was given only into these 4 blocks. And this with by grid model, you can recognizing for this percentage. Maps also you in the distribution of this groundwater, we saw we saw 5 levels, and you have recognizing of this each blocks with showing from the 9 to, for example, 9. Inverse from the vegetation analysis for vegetation, it's plants. You have recognizing for partial solution of the inverse problem of gas oil complex to the vegetation of scores. It's showing 3.18, and partial solution of the inverse problem 31.79%. For groundwater distribution of this groundwater, we saw by using this grid model, or it's called integral models, we have recognizing of was showing 24.55%. So components of soil vegetation layer using these provide objective functions. It's here we saw each components of this depending into these maps, relief, soil, vegetation, and the groundwater. Provide objective functions or showing it's similar to each other. It's by the numbers. It's no differences. It's less of this calculation or this less total value. It's showing of 15, 20, 24. Provide objective functions with by oil gas production. Say here we saw 24% was given. This is the means disturbance of oil gas production complex. It's more than provide objective functions with by components of environmental pollution. So if you compare generalized assessment maps with by average differentiated assessment maps, we saw it's provide objective functions. It's 5.8, and average differentiated assessment we saw 5.4% point. And the score, it's here you can see 26 and 24. So conclusion, it's here we saw these methods. It's a check if you methods are same. It's a correct. It's a showing of this correctness of these methods. General assessment methods with by average differentiated across methods. So if you conclusions, the second results method was developed to convert distributed cartographic information with by grid vessel models. You know, inventory maps, it's 2 inventory maps. You have used 3 assessment maps. demonstrating its effective and analyzing evaluating splash dive. The results of generalized solution of the integrated environmental assessment, we saw Mangstau region was 20 to 59, based on the source maps, is showing 25% of the maps. The difference of these two methods, three differentiating methods, we saw 1.60, reasonable small acceptable level. Also, for correctness of this information, you worked with by filed in the GTY. You can take note of plans, and we have taken from the near this oil gas files and external parts of this oil, outside parts of the oil gas files. And if you take this near this oil sectors, you recognizing of more number of 90% of it's completed with by you have recognizing the plants which are called formula. External parts of this oil and gas regions, you have recognizing of less number of this formula. This means this plants, it means more specialty, and you can these types of dominance of these plants you can more sensitive. Mangstau region of the according this Kaz Hydromet, Ministry of the Republic of Kazakhstan, it's here we can see recognizing of heavy metals, which during spring period we have recognizing of oil products, copper, elite, and zinc, nickel, and was taken 3 points, and each point we saw the number of these metals. It's not decreasing of according to these components. If you take also I have worked with by chemical metals from these soils when the presented of near this was given near this soil near this oil and gas sectors, also outside of this oil sectors, and we saw it's an increasing of number of cadmium when this unfortunately has Hydromet, it's not recognizing of these metals. And soil contamination of was carried 3 control points, so to engage by files, and it's in this presentation you can see this number of concentration of as follows: 0.086 and 0.3 millikilogram. Conclusions of the search method: objectivity expert map by ozonic cover degradation, independent studies, and a project authors. Second, environmental assessment for once the components of natural component. Initial data inverse when the constructing of multidimensional expert models objective functions. Novelty of the research, so it's one of these methods inverse problem. Inverse problem is opposite of working of directional methods, which you can recognizing of through these objective functions and integral functions. The practical significance of the research: independently assess contribution of minor pollutions, environmental situation, and these assessments provide practical tools, economical supporting, which they call polluter pays principle by quantities and the impact of the oil gas production sector, anthropogenic transformation of natural systems. So conclusions: the weight the soil degradation oil gas production activities with 4 points. 2 tech points. This is the means higher than, for example, regional average. Other components contribution of transformation 70%, and the contribution related modification 18%. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yerim Raskulovna. The report is complete. Please, dear colleagues, please questions for our candidate. who make some question for our candidate?
Good morning.
Good
I have
morning.
2 questions.
Yes, Gulmira Kalmashovna.
First question is, how should the difference between the generalized and differentiated approaches be interpreted? Second question is, what practical decisions can be made based on your results?
Thank you. Your question?
Mhm.
You.
Thank you so much. Gulmira Kalmashina. Yeah, first question about how should be different between generalized and differentiated methods. Differentiated methods can recognizing of individual sectors' contribution. For example, you have used the specialty methods which are called grid model. Generalized methods, this means recognizing of all impact influence. For example, influence of oil production complex in the general weight pollution. This is a means generalized, for example, approach, generalized methods. Differentiated methods can recognizing of specialty contents. For example, contents of specialty components of soil or relief. This is the means. This is difference between this how recognizing of differentiated and the generalized methods. Second question about what practical significance about my research. This is the means you can environmental. Firstly, it's importance into environmental monitoring, and secondly, you can recognizing of, for example, these methods, you can prevent it all from the protection pollutions. And you can give these reports, for example, through these methods before, for example, for recognizing of individual sectors.
Thank you.
You check it the answer our candidate. Thank you. Dear colleagues, who has any question? Very good question.
Okay, thank you, Alias Melikana. Dear Karim, thank you for your presentation. I have several questions. Your results. First question. Why does the dissertation really mainly of literature and monitoring data appeal to 2015, 2016, despite significant environmental changes in Mangistau during the last decade?
You know, this is a means depending into this methods. It's a it's a firstly it's a here 1.5 less number of distribution. It's a then 20 the about others. You know, this is the means. Distribution of this solution is more than others.
Okay. Second question, you study claims to provide an objective quantitative assessment, yet it relies on expect basic maps as primary data. How can numerical objectivity be ensured when the initial data are inherently subjective?
If you take maps, in maps, it's a given, it's a general. in these maps, for example, it's for taking of this initial information, you have used the specialty maps with soil and vegetation and the groundwater, was given this information. It's generally for recognizing of determining of this each methods. You have used this specialty, for example, specialty was given of this from the initial maps was given this oil gas sectors. And you have overlaying of these general methods, general, for example, maps.
Okay. And last question. Why is the validity of a regional scale model being verified using localized sampling points that don't correspond specialty on the scope of the assessment?
If you take these methods, one of these methods, 3.5, this is a means less number of distribution of these pollutions, and 20%, this means strong. This is calculated through general methods. If you take this individual methods, for example, grid-based models, you can show it's are same. This is not distribution. This is a less number of. This means less number of distributions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, you have some question for our candidate? Dear colleagues?
So may I have some questions?
Please.
So thank you very much. My first question regarding the soil quality, soil degradation. As I understand, we are speaking about the soil degradation based on the soil quality analysis, yeah. Petroleum products content in the soil, various heavy metals, and so on. So at the same time, we know that soil degradation is the loss of topsoil of the soil cover. As a result, the loss of soil productivity. Yeah. So here, just my question is, difference between the soil pollution and soil degradation. Yeah. For example, okay, we can accept also when soil is polluted, then we can speak about the soil degradation. But to my opinion, based on soil quality or pollution with heavy metals and so on, we can speak about soil degradation if they exceed the maximum allowable concentrations in high levels. Yeah. You understand me? If soil is very, very polluted and almost all contaminants exceed maximum allowable concentrations, then we could speak about the soil degradation. But when it's polluted and only cadmium, as I saw here, only cadmium concentration in the soil, for example, exceeds MAC, yeah, MAC. In this case, to my opinion, it's better to use soil pollution, term soil pollution, not soil degradation, because heavy metals, you know, in some cases they even help to develop plant cover, and somehow helping to grow the plant cover in this area. This is my first question, please.
Thank you for question. Firstly, yeah, you recognizing of this soil pollution difference between this soil degradation and the pollutions. degradation. This is influence also other factors. For example, it's not for one components of this components of this process. Also, it's here maybe it's including of several factors into this destroying of the soil degradation. If you take this about heavy metals, in heavy metals you have you want to compare this process with by maps was taking information and with by chemical metals. And if you take these chemical metals, we used some metals, but unfortunately, in the with by monitoring has predominant, you can't recognizing of these metals of the cadmium, and we saw in cadmium in some points of the samples it's higher than in other parts, and so this means have also increasing of this pollution, also depending into these metals. It's heavy metals.
Are you satisfied with the answers?
Yeah, thank you very much. I am satisfied with the answer. And the second question about the plant cover disturbances. So you said there are significant plant cover disturbances based due to the impact of oil and gas production complex situated in this area.
Yeah, about plants. Firstly, you have recognizing of the types of dominant of these plants, and basically you filed the types of canola which near this oil and oil sectors, oil and gas sectors, and outside parts you recognizing of these plants types of canola. It's less. This is a means first, for example, reasons this near this oil gas sectors, it's less pollutions. With including of other components of these pollutions, including these components of these pollutions, we show increasing of levels of distribution of these, for example, soils, which depend also into these components of plants.
Dear Professor Bakhtiar Kurambayevich, thank you very much for your question. Dear colleagues, we continue our councils, and we have some question for our candidate. Dear colleagues, maybe you have some questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation, my dear. I have one question. What is the quantitative contribution of oil and gas production to soil change in Mangistau?
Oil and gas production, this means, sorry, can you repeat this question?
What is the quantitative contribution of oil and gas production to soil change in Mangistau soil?
Okay, thank you. I got thank you into your question. It's before that I have shown this distribution of these soils. It's a given 70% distribution. It's through this. It's a components of this. For example, it will be used specialty integrated environmental assessment. Through this integrated environmental assessment, you have recognizing of quantity into this 70%. This means it's not, for example, more. This means normal.
Если это показать, да, где ты выделяешь это всё? И как?
And the soil methods for soil degradation.
Soil
Methods.
Provide objective functions. Firstly, you have used this, you have taken of these contours of these areas, with the distribution with by 5 levels. And secondly, then you have used these specialty methods, which are used with by Pentel, provide environmental assessment. In this provide environmental assessments, we saw it's 5 levels. And thirdly, this is means integrated environmental assessments. We have used this with by grid model. And you recognize that this 16.70%.
Хорошо. Знаете, верю.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Dear colleagues, maybe you have some question for our candidate. Dear members of the dissertation council, are there any more questions? If not, we will proceed to next step. Yes? Enough clear? The floor is given to the domestic scientific consult, doctor of the geography science and professor of the Department of Regulation, Geography and Tourism at Alpharel Kazakh National University, Людмила Михайловна Павличенко.
Простите, я как ископаемая, в общем, у меня наверное, вот за то, что жизнь выбрить, там что-то голова не работает, у меня в основном логическая. Поэтому, простите, буду говорить по-русски. Ну, вопросы задавали много там по разным этим аспектам. Вот, ну, понятно, что я в основном обеспечивала вот эту вот часть исследовательскую, то есть пробовали мы разные модели, как там применять и оценить вот это, собственно, с одной стороны, качество модели на проверке вот уже известных каких-то фактов, а с другой стороны и вот это, те карты, которые вот были построены уже в атласе, географическом атласе Казахстана. И вот здесь как раз ну, надо сказать, что она была первая вот из докторантов, которые вот у нас на кафедре появились, и мы занялись именно вот, ну тогда, не знаю, как это даже назвать, хотелось побольше всего попробовать. Вот. И поэтому вот мы огромное количество моделей там опробовали, вот, и, как говорится, оценивали их применимость с точки зрения вот как раз тех фактических данных, которые вот мы из атласа брали, да, и потом еще проверяли на вот собственных полевых исследованиях. Как раз вот и Айгерим, и еще там у нас была магистрантка одна, они, ну, можно сказать, два этих периода полевых, они целиком и полностью проводили вот на вот этих, ну, полевых исследованиях. И вот в этом плане вот как раз была возможность вот на самых разных уровнях, да, вот, применения разных вот этих типов моделей, мы могли как-то проверить, что с одной стороны сами модели, а с другой стороны и качество вот, ну, как наших вот этих вот определений. Получается, что мы сравнивали не только вот карты, которые вот в атласе были, да, но и те карты, фактические данные, которые вот за два, как говорится, полевых периода, вот там две наши девушки вот это все очень подробно изучили. Вот. Ну, здесь вот что вот характерно. Ну, отзыв, я думаю, смогу там прочитать. Что теоретическая значимость диссертационной работы обусловлена разработкой теоретических моделей, обеспечивающих возможность получения независимых оценок вклада отдельных видов антропогенных загрязнений ну, в данном случае НГДК, это нефтегазодобывающий комплекс, на основе учета самой разнообразной информации, используемой в качестве исходных наблюдений природных, в качестве исходных картографических данных, вот эти комплексные экологические оценки, результаты мониторинговых наблюдений природных составляющих, экспедиционных исследований, космических снимков, данных дистанционного зондирования. То есть мы использовали самую разную информацию. И вот в качестве одного из типов моделей здесь выступают целевые функции по Роберту Пентлу, которые, я не знаю, наверное, в статистике уже многие используют эти модели. Суть в том, что для того, чтобы была возможность учесть разные факторы, да, у каждого там свои единицы измерений, там куча этих вспомогательных операций надо было сделать. И здесь как раз мы тогда только осваивали это, и поэтому все, в общем, пытались учесть роль и направление воздействия на формирование экологической ситуации. Причем, поскольку выбор значимых параметров в этой функции Петла, да, это фактически экспертная процедура, то, значит, мы там несколько вариантов просчитывали для того, чтобы, как говорится, получить более достоверные результаты. Разработанные модели обобщенной и дифференцированного решения обратной задачи комплексной экологической оценки. Почему обратная задача? Я не говорила, сейчас, наверное, это уже все знают. То есть из общей мы каждый этих факторы и сами значения определяли. Значит, причем мы при необходимости для каждого месторождения выполнялась это еще и дифференцированная оценка. Но обе модели имеют преимущества и недостатки, и в выводах и обобщениях к разделам, простите, на английском языке я не могла, как говорится, оценить, как это все было изложено. А корректность моделей, когда мы еще на русском языке, как говорится, писали, да, она подтверждена как теоретическим обоснованием объективности исходного картографического материала и сравнением реакции моделей на варианты наборов весовых коэффициентов и изменения наборов оценочных карт, так и независимыми фактическими данными. В качестве фактических данных выступают примеры исследований почв и растительности на нефтегазовых месторождениях, приказ, которые взяты из литературных источников, данных бюллетеней, государственной сети мониторинга. И следует отметить, что оконтуривание этих значков НГДК, наверное, возле каждой этой скважины видели черные кружочки, да, выполнялось с учетом анализа условий формирования депрессионных воронок. То есть мы все дисциплины использовали. А ценным дополнением теоретической части работы является подтверждение полученных теоретических результатов собранными аналитическими исследованиями проб почв и растительности, отобранных в полевых условиях 2015-2016 годов возле действующей скважины месторождения Житыбай и для сравнения за пределами санитарно-защитной зоны. И тот факт, что аналитические исследования проводились в лабораториях Мидлсекского университета, является еще дополнительным критерием объективности полученных результатов. Дополнительным обоснованием актуальности с научной и практической точки зрения служит факт, что диссертация написана в рамках выполнения проекта, бюджетной программы грантового финансирования МОН-РК. Разработка метода объективизации экспертных оценок вклада отдельных источников загрязнения в общую экологическую ситуацию территории. Степень обоснованности и достоверности всех научных положений, выводов и рекомендаций обеспечивается большим объемом фактических данных и корректностью используемых методов их обработки. Существенный вклад сделан автором в методические разработки, которые позволяют выполнять аналогичные работы по оценке роли любых источников воздействия на любых территориях. Причем важным методическим приемом является способ приведение разноуровневых оценочных шкал к единому набору уровней с использованием дополнительных картографических источников. Хотя работа реализует первый этап грантового исследования, она представляет собой единое исследование с четкой внутренней структурой и причинно-следственной связью. В основу всех построений положены единый набор исходных данных в виде оценочных карт и единая идея решения обратной задачи комплексной экологической оценки как разности двух комплексных экологических оценок. Из комплексной экологической оценки в зонах с исследуемым источником воздействия вычитается комплексная экологическая оценка с участием всех действующих источников. Все полученные результаты и выводы диссертации направлены на достижение целей диссертации путем последовательного определения воздействия НГДК на компоненты природной среды и природную среду в целом с обоснованием объективности и достаточности анализируемых параметров. Поэтому считаю, что вот работа Есполаевой А.Р. Оценка вклада газонефтедобывающего комплекса в формирование экологического состояния Мангистауской области представляет собой самостоятельное законченное научное исследование, содержащее важные методические и прикладные результаты по исследованию дополнительного вклада отдельных источников воздействия формирования экологической напряженности территории. Она отвечает всем требованиям, предъявляемым в PhD диссертации по содержанию, соответствует специальности экологии и может быть рекомендована для представления.
Thank you, Professor Людмила. Please, Eugenia Zbikina, translate this review.
Translation of the review of local scientific advisor. The dissertation by A.Р. Есполаева А.Р. presents a scientific investigation into a novel theoretical issue, namely the inverse task of comprehensive environmental assessments. The primary objective is to quantify the contribution of individual pollution sources to the environmental stress of the territory. This is demonstrated through a quantitative assessment of the role played by the oil and gas production complex in the anthropogenic transformation of environmental components based on materials from the foundational publication Atlas of Mangistau region produced by the Institute of Geography of the Ministry of Education and Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan. The atlas offers a vast collection of empirical data on the natural, economic, and social characteristics of the region. Synthesizing these data, the contribution of oil and gas are represented in the form of geographic maps, reflects cumulative impacts from all anthropogenic sources on individual natural components. The theoretical significance of the dissertation lies in the development of models that facilitate the independent assessment of specific anthropogenic impacts, specifically those related to oil and gas production complex, using a wide range of information sources. The comprehensive environmental assessments played as baseline cartographic data, integrate results from environmental monitoring, field studies, satellite imagery, and remote sensing technologies. The models used in the dissertation are grounded in Panto target function methodology. These functions identify and prioritize key impact factors, considering both their magnitude and direction in influencing environmental conditions. The selection and weighting of parameters are based on expert analysis informed by systematic and ecological geographical principles concerning the interrelationships among natural components. These models allow for a quantitative evaluation of environmental stress with a level of details corresponding to the resolution of source data. Both generalized and differentiated inverse modeling approach were developed. The generalizing model provides assessments at the industry-wide level, while the differentiated model allows for more detailed evaluations at the level of individual oil and gas fields. The strengths and limitations of each model are thoroughly discussed in the corresponding sections and summarized in the dissertation's conclusion. The validity of the models is supported by theoretical justification of cartographic data, analysis of the model sensitivity to variations and weighting factors and data sets, and corroboration from independent empirical sources. These sources include case studies of soil and vegetation in oil and gas fields of the Caspian region, drawn from academic literature and official monitoring bulletins. Notably, the delineation of oil and gas production complex facilities on the maps was performed with consideration of the conditions leading to the formation of depressing cones around production wells. All results and conclusions obtained in the dissertation aim to achieve its stated goal by consistently determining the impact of the oil and gas production complex on individual components of the natural environment and the ecosystem as a whole, sustaining the objectivity and adequacy of analyzed parameters and accuracy of constructed models. A total of 12 publications have been published on the topic of the dissertation, the titles and content of which confirm all the case provisions, conclusions, and outcomes of research. In my opinion, the dissertation of Yeспалаева assessment of contribution of the oil and gas production complex to the formation of ecological states of Mangistau region is an independent and complete scientific study containing important methodological and applied results on assessing the additional impact of individual sources on the formation of environmental stress in region. It meets all requirements for a PhD dissertation, corresponds to the field of ecology in its content, and can be recommended for defense.
Thank you very much, Irene. The foreign scientific consultant, Dr. Hugh Jones, Associate Professor of the Faculty of National Science, School of Science and Technology at Middlesex University, is honorable due to technical difficult issue, and therefore is now given to Scientific Secretary Ayzan Yazbekov to read the International Scientific Advisor Review.
The review of foreign research consultant. Kerim Yeспалаев's dissertation addresses a novel theoretical issue in the field of integrated environmental assessments by tackling the inverse problem, evaluating the contribution of individual pollutants to the environmental stress of region. This study introduced new assessment methods that quantify the additional impact of the oil and gas production complex on the anthropogenic transformation of the natural, environmental, and overall ecological situation, supporting the implementation of the polluter pays principle. The work explores two main approaches for solving the inverse problem, utilizing expert environmental assessments from the atlas of the Mangistau region and applying multivariate statistical models. A crucial aspect of these methods is converting cartographic information into quantitative data suitable for mathematical processing. The introduction highlights the author's significant contributions, including the development of the initial data for the differentiated model, selecting problems and solutions, formulating key conclusions, and conducting numerical calculations. Notably, the author independently completed sample preparation and analytical research in the UK on soil and vegetation samples from gigabyte field. These efforts aimed to validate the results of the inverse problem solutions. The dissertation also contributes methodologically by providing a framework for assessing the impact of various sources in different regions. Of particular scientific and practical interest is the method for determining positive values of the integral solution to the inverse problem, which could underpin differentiated payment system for environmental emissions. Despite being the first stage of grant research project, this dissertation stands as a cohesive study with a clear internal structure and logical progression. It uses a consistent set of initial data and adheres to a unified concept of solving the inverse problem as the difference between comprehensive environmental assessment with and without the studied impact sources. The results and conclusions aligned with the dissertation's goal of evaluating the oil and gas production complex impact on the natural environment, supporting by justified parameters and accurate model. The findings address a crucial issue, establishing a methodological foundation for assessing environmental impact and developing a domestic environmental quality management system to enforce the polluter pays principle. The methods developed by the author for the inverse problem of integrated environmental assessment are applicable to similar studies in other regions and could form the basis for differentiated emission payments. In summary, IGRIM Yeсполаев's work on assessing the contribution of the oil and gas production complex to the ecological state of Mangostar region is significant independent scientific study. It provides valuable methodological and applied insights into the impact of individual sources on environmental stress and meets standards for PhD dissertation in ecology. I recommend it for submission and defense.
Thank you very much, Agent Yuzbekna. The next word goes to the first reviewer, Doctor of Biology Science, Professor of the Department of Soil Science and Land Resources Assessment, Faculty of Biology and Soil Science of Irkutsk State University, Lopotskaya Olga Gennadievna. Turn off your microphone.
Colleagues, allow me to present the review. Вы слышите?
Yeah.
Okay. A review of the work by Kirim Raskolovna Yeсполаева on the topic assessment of the contribution of oil and gas production complex to the formation of the ecological state of Mangostar region, submitted as a dissertation for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 6D06080 Ecology. The dissertation research was carried out within the framework of the grant-funded project of the Ministry of Education and Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan, development of a method of objective expert assessment of the contribution of individual pollution source to the overall environmental situation of a territory. This project was implemented in accordance with the priority direction of scientific development of the Republic of Kazakhstan in the field of ecology and rational use of natural research. Second, the research makes a significant contribution of science, and its importance is clearly demonstrated. The results allow independent assessment of the contribution of individual pollution source to the overall environmental situation. A task that is scientifically complex. The developed approach based on the inverse problem of quantitative environmental assessment enables practical implementation of the polluter pays principle by quantifying the additional impact of oil and gas components on the transformation of environmental components. Level of independence, height. Selected results on section of the dissertation were presented and discussed at various international conferences during 2014-2016, including integrating water cycle management, building capacity and impact in education, and current problem of hydrogeology and geology. Next, environmental safety of territories and water bodies, regional and global challenges. Next, nature, society, human. Next, the relevance of the dissertation is determined by the fact that an independent assessment of the environmental situation in the region based on monitoring data allows to evaluate the overall impact of oil industry combined, but does not provide the possibility to determine the contribution of a specific section of individual enterprises to total pollution. Therefore, the research topic aimed at identifying the role of the oil and the gas sector in shaping the environmental situation in the Mangostai region through solving a theoretical problem new to environmental science, the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment is relevant from both scientific and practical perspectives. Next, the content of the dissertation reflects the topic of the dissertation. The dissertation fully corresponds to the state's topic. The research results are present in one monograph and 16 scientific publications, including 2 articles in journals indexed in Scopus and Web of Science, 8 articles in publication recommended by the Committee for Quality Assurance in the field of science and higher education of the Ministry of Education and Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan. 4 articles in the proceeding of international conference. The aim and objective of the dissertation research are clearly formulated and fully correspond to the topic of the work, ensuring a logical connection between the theoretical foundation of the study and the practical analysis. All section and statement of the dissertation are logically and consistently structured, ensuring compliant interconnection between the theoretical foundation and the practical results of the work. The novelty of the dissertation research lies in the development of methods for solving a new theoretical problem, the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment. The fundamental distinct of the proposed approaches from existing method is the use of multidimensional models. The capabilities of these models significantly suppress the traditionally used GIS overlay operation, which allow identification of intersection of no more than 3 parameters. The methodology proposed by the author demonstrates that to achieve table assessment accuracy at least 5 significant parameters must be considered, ensuring a more precise and objective determination of the contribution of individual pollution source. The dissertation research present novel scientific result and propositions, in particular the development of method for solving the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment, the application of multi-dimensional models for the quantitative evaluation of individual pollution source, and the implementation of the polluter pays principle in the economic support of environmental protection measures. Their approaches have not been previously applied in similar studies and represent an original contribution to science. Calculations were carried out for various components of the natural environmental relief, soils, vegetation, groundwater, and comparison of methodologies was performed. High accuracy of the assessment was confirmed or less than 1.7%, and an increased impact of oil and gas compounds was in the part compared to average region values. The technical, technological, economical, of managerial solution are novel and substantiated. The novel of the proposed solutions lies in substantiating the role of the oil and gas sector in the socio-economic development of the region, identifying the limitation of existing environmental monitoring system and highlighting the need for comprehensive assessment. Approaches are proposed for implementing the polluter pays principle and utilize in modern mapping methods for concluding an independent system assessment with enhances their practical significance. Next 6. All main conclusions of the dissertation are supported by scientific evidence and are strongly justified. The obtained results allow the application of the development methods for environmental regulation, planning of environmental processes, measures, and different ecological management in the regions. Proposition 1. Conclusions were performed for various components of the nature, environmental relief, soils, vegetation, groundwater, water, and comparison of methodologies was conducted. The accuracy of the assessment was confirmed or less than 1.7%, and increased impact of the oil and gas sector was identified compared to average region values. 7y, is the proposition proven? Proven. 7.2, is it trivial? No. 7.3, is it novel? Yes. 7.4, level of applicability broad. 7.5, is it proven? Is the article? Yes. Proposition 2, methods for generalized and differentiated environmental assessment were developed and tested for various components of the natural environmental. Comparison of methodologies was carried out. Height assessment accuracy was confirmed or less than 1.7%, and an increased impact of the OGPS was a defect compared to average region values. 7.1, is the proposition proven? Proven. 7.2, is it travel? No. 7.3, is it novel? Yes. 7.4 level of applicability broad. 7.5 is the article yes. Proposition 3 differentiated environmental assessment was implement allowing identification of the zone with varying degrees of OGS impact and determination of block where the impact of other source exceeds the sector contribution. Measures for environmental regulation and optimization of the system of environmental permits were proposed. And 7.1 is a proposition proven. 7.2 is it travel? No. 7.3 is a novel? Yes. 7.4 level of applicability broad. 7.5 is it proven is the article? Yes. Next, the choice of research methodology is justified by the interdisciplinary nature of the study. These GIS technologies, cartographic, build, and analytical methods, and is thoroughly described and supported by the updated scientific results, ensuring the reliability and responsibility of the conducted research. The methodology is described in sufficient. Next, the research results were obtained using modern methods of data analysis and processing, including computer models and GIS technologies, which ensure accuracy, clarity, and the practical applicability of the developed approach. The use of statistical analysis methods, mass statistic, confirms the reliability of the results. The theoretical conclusion developed models and identified relationship and patterns. They are confirmed by the result of calculation and that data analysis for various components of the natural environmental, ensuring the scientific validity and practical applicability of the obtained results. Assertions of the dissertation are based on relevant and reliable scientific source, including publication in peer-reviewed journals, materials from international conference, and official report on environmental monitoring, ensuring the scientific validity of the work. The literature review of the dissertation is based on the wide range of relevant and reliable sources, including peer-reviewed journal article, monographs, and materials from international conference, ensuring and comprehensive and systematic analysis on the research topic. The number of primary sources used 118 from both domestic and foreign researchers is sufficient for the literature review. Next, the dissertation research has theoretical significance as it developed new approaches to solving the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment, establish method for the quantitative evaluation of the contribution of individual pollution source, and identifies patterns of the impact of the oil and gas production complex on components of the natural environmental by expanding theoretical understanding in the field of environmental science. The dissertation also has methodological significance, serving as the basis for assessing the impact of various sources in different regions. The dissertation research has had practical significance. The developed method of environmental assessment and different standardization can be used for planning environmental processing, measure management, ecological risk, and optimizing the system of environmental payments. at the region level. The obtained results make it possible to enhance the effectiveness of environmental regulation and the sustainable development of oil and gas region. The likelihood of practical application of the results is high. The novelty of the practical recommendation lies in the application of the developed methods for environmental assessment in different regulation for planning environmental processing measure, managing ecological risk and optimizing the system of environmental payment. Some recommendations are based on the adaptation of existing approaches, while others are derived from the author's new methodological development. The dissertation is written at a high academic level. The text is logically structured. The argumentation is consistent. The terminology corresponds to the scientific discipline, and the writing style allows the theoretical and practical results of the research to be present clearly and coherently. Comment of the dissertation. Number one, to improve clarity, it is recommended to provide a more detailed description of the procedure for constructing data functions and the calculation algorithms. Number two, it is necessary to specialize the data source and the criteria for identifying zones with different levels of oil and gas production complex impact. This will make the responsibility of the results more evident and facilitate the practical application of the proposed methods. Number three, it is recommended to clearly define the relationship between the generalized and differentiated assessment methods, the multi-all advantage and limitations. Number four, consider providing a brief explanation of how the internal relationship between components of the natural environmental are accounted for in the integral assessment to emphasize the scientific novelty of the approach and the validity of the applied methodologies. All the doctoral candidates' articles included in the dissertation demonstrate high scientific value and relevance to the research topic. The publications comprise articles in journal indexed in Scopus and Purple Science, articles in peer-reviewed journals recommended by Ministry of Science, Higher Education of Republic Kazakhstan, as well as material from international conference. The article presents the theoretical justification of the methods, descriptions of the calculation, performance, and interpretation of the results, confirming the high level of scientific analysis and the practical significance of the work. And in conclusion, it is recommended that Aykerim Есполаева be conferred the degree of Doctor of Philosophy PhD in the specialty of 6D 060800 ecology. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Olga Vinatina. The floor is given to the candidate to respond to the reviewers' comments.
Thank you, Olga Gennadievna. About question number one, to improve the clarify, it's recommended to provide more detailed description of the procedure for constructing objective functions and the calculation algorithms. If you take this description parts of this constructing parts of the objective functions, you have used it with by methods of this pen tool which calculated into algorithm. Firstly, you have recognizing of general objective through these general objective functions, then integral objective functions, and you compare this between these two models, and you have used recognizing of chemical through these chemical methods components of, for example, chemical methods. And the second question, it's necessary to specify the date criteria for identifying zones with different levels of oil gas production complex impact. Then will make the results more evident, facilitate the practical applications, the proposed methods. About the second question, according assessment maps of the integral assessment maps, you have 5 levels was presented, which divided into 10. You used, according to these methods of this panel, you used 10 points, which divided into 5 to 10. So these methods, through these methods, you have recognizing of steps of pollutions, how it's polluted of these components into each components of this according to these maps. About question 3, it's recommended clarify to find relationship between the generalized and the differentiated methods, their mutual advantages and the limitations. Between these for differentiation methods, you have for recognizing of differentiation methods, firstly, you recognizing of area of pollutions from the atlas of Mangst regions. So we have divided into blocks, into several these blocks. Through these blocks, we have recognizing of pollutions of each components, each sources. From the generalized method, you have recognizing of totally pollution of these solutions. About the next questions, consider providing brief explanation how internal relationship between components of the natural environment are account for the integral assessment for scientific novelty to approach applied methodologies. This scientific novelty means this is a new method, which is called inverse problem. Through this inverse problem, you have recognizing of integrated environmental assessment, and also, through this scientific novelty means for correctness of this information of these maps, you have recognizing. So one of these approaches and applied methodologies, this is a means inverse problem of integrated environmental assessment.
Thank you very much, Gira. Are you satisfied with the answers our candidate?
All right, thank you, Akirim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olga Gennadievna. The next word is given to the second reviewer, head of the Department of State Technical Expertise of National Federal for State Scientific and Technical Expertise, Dr. Selhan Aynur Selhan Kızı.
Thank you so much. I am welcome everyone present at the dissertation's defense. Let me read the review. Yeah?
Please, yes.
Okay. Review of the work by Есполаева A.R. on the topic assessment of the contribution of oil and gas production complex to the formation of the ecological state of Mangsta region. Submitted his dissertation for the degree Doctor of Philosophy PhD in the specially 6D06060 ecology. We have 13 evaluation criteria. The first criteria is compliance with the criteria underlined on of the options, and the compliance with priori dissertation directions of scientific development of state programs. The dissertation was carried out within a project or the target program funded from the state budget. Indicate the name and number of the project or program. the dissertation topic of the as of the date of approval complies with the directions of the scientific development and state programs, and the dissertation was carried out within another state program. Indicates the name of the program. The dissertation corresponds to a priority direction of the scientific development approved by the Supreme Scientific and Technical Commissions and under the government of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Indicate the direction. Justifying on the official review position comments in the italics. The present dissertation is part of the grant funding project of the Ministry of Education and Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan, number 0588 and 9, which focuses on developing a method of objective expert assessment of the contributions of individual pollutions to the territory environmental state. The project was carried out in alignment with of national priorities for the scientific and technological development and ecology and the rational use of natural resources. The second criterion, the research does not make a substantial contribution to science and its importance, and clearly substantive. The research provides of substantial contribution on the scientific field, and it is relevance and is clearly substantial. The findings enable an objective evaluation of the influence of individual pollution or the overall environmental state, which represents a complex scientific challenge. The development method provides a means for the practical application of the principle by quantitatively assessing the additional impact of the oil and the gas on the transformations of the environmental combinations. The three criterion principle of independence, level of independence, first high, because important of the research is conducted in accordance with the principle of independence, ensuring that the assessment and the interpretations are unbiased, objective, and free from external influence. This guarantees that the results can be relied for the informated decision making and for the fair implementation of environmental management policies. Yes, the four criteria. 4.1, justification of the relevance of the durations. 1, substantive. Because conventional regional environmental assessment based on monitoring data allow evaluation of the overall industrial impact that do not make it possible to determine, and the contributions of specific sector of individual enterprises. This research addresses this gap by assessing the role of the oil and the gas sector in shaping the environmental situation of the Mangostau region, a novel theoretical approach, the inverse problem of the national environmental assessment, its relevance from both scientific and the practical perspectives. And 4.2, the content of the dissertations reflects the topic of the dissertation, and the 1 reflects because the content of the dissertation file corresponds to its stated topic. The research results are documented in the monograph and the series of 16 scientific publication, including to the article in the journals indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. 8 articles on publications recommended by Committee for the Quality Assurance and the Field of Science and Higher Education of the Ministry of the Education and Science of Republic of Kazakhstan, and 4 the article in the proceeding of international conference. And 4.3, the aim and the objective correspondent to the dissertation topic, and first correspondent. This dissertation clearly establishes a logical and connection between the theoretical framework of the research and the practical analysis, and providing a solid basis for the addressing the infinite scientific and applied problems, as well as for defining the aim and objective. 4.4, all the sections and the provisions of the dissertations are logical intercontact, and the 1 finally interconnected. Yes, all parts, the propositions of the dissertations are logical and systematically arranged, providing complete alignment between the theoretical basis and the practical outcomes of study. And 4.5, the new solutions proposed by the author are the substantive and evaluated in the comparison with now solutions. And the first critical analysis is provided. The dissertation research presents the development techniques for the addressing the problem of competition's environmental assessment. The methodology proposed by the author after demonstrations that the level assessment and last 5 scientific determinations of the contributions and the individual pollution. 5.1 are the scientific results and the statements novel. First, completely novel. The dissertation's research provides novel scientific results and insights. The applications, the multidimensional models for the quantitative evaluation of individual pollution sources and the implications of the pollution pays, principle in the financial support of environmental protection. The approaches have not been provincial, applied in the comparable studies, and they represent an original contribution of the field of science. And the 5 criterion, 5.1, are the conclusions of the dissertation novel. First, completely new, because we developed algorithms for the generalized and the differentiated solutions of the universe problem of comprehensive environmental assessment, and created algorithms for transform the 3-level ground weighter assessment and assessment scale into a classical 5-level scale using and the ground weighter and the full map, a new map, yeah. Construction, generalization, the specific objective foundations of contribution to distributions in the reliefs, soils, vegetations, and groundwater in the Mangstau region. 5.3 are the technical, technological, economic, and managerial solution, novel and substantive. First, completely new. Technical and technological solutions, economic solution are proposed and approach for the implementing the polluter place principle, allowing for the different environmental charges based on the quantified contribution of oil, gas companies to environmental distributions. And the sixth criterion, and the justification of the main conclusions. All main conclusions of the dissertation are based on substantial scientific evidence and the wild and well justified. The conclusions are separated by file data, including soil and vegetation sampling and laboratory analysis conducted in the United Kingdom. Integration of the theoretical developments with practical application, practical applications, and of the results. Yeah, and the seven criteria. 7.1 is the proportions proven. Is proportions proven? Yes, proven. My evaluation, my assessment, and at 7.2, is it travel? No. 7.3, is it novel? Yes. 7.4 level is applicability broad. 7.5, is it proven in the article? Yes. Proposals environmental assessment for vast contractors for various completions, natural environment, including relief, soils, vegetation, and the groundwater, groundwater comparisons and the methodologies for the performance confirming high assessment and error below 2%, and revealing that the impact of the oil and the gas production. These results were using generalizations and the different methods, and evaluation 7.4 level of 7.4 evaluation 7.1 is proportions proven. 7.2 is it travel? No. 7.3 is it novel? Yes. 7.4 level of the applicability broad. 7.5 is it proven in the article? Yes. And the 7.5 is it proven in the article? Proposals and the different environmental assessment was implemented allowing of zones with varying degrees of oil and the gas sector impact and determinations of block, where is the impact of this of the exits of sector contribution. 7 minutes. 7.5 evaluation. 7.1 is the proportions proven. 7.2 is it travel? No. 7.3 is it novel? Yes. 7.4 level of applicability broad. 7.5 is it proven in the article? Yes. 8 criteria. 8.1 choice of the methodology. Is it justified? Is the methodology described in the sufficient detail? First, yes. The dissertation provides the clear explanations of the generalized and methods used in environmental assessment, including algorithms for the solving the inverse problem, construction of objective functions, and file data collection. This ensures reproducibility of the research and allows independent verification of the results. And 8, the results of the dissertation were using modern scientific research methods and data processing and the interpretations. Use of computer technologies, yes. The dissertation results were obtained using modern scientific research methods, including file sampling, laboratory analysis, and statistical data processing. Advanced computer technologies were employed for the process large data, solving the inverse problem of compression's environmental assessment and the construction's multi-dimensional models and reproducibility of results. And 8.3 and 8.3 theoretical findings, models, and identification interrelations. In additional files, pedagogical experiments, the theoretical findings, models, and the indefinite interrelationships were evaluated extensive experimental research. This includes simulations, analytical calculations on the file studies such as the soil and vegetation sampling near oil and the gas faculties. The results confirmed the exerts of the models, of the generalist and the difference method, and the validity of the identified contributions of the individual pollution to the overall environmental situation. 8.1, does the durations have theoretical signed finds? Yes. The dissertation research has theoretical science and as develops new approaches to solving the inverse problem of comprehensive environmental assessment, establishes method for the quantitative evaluation of the contribution of individual pollution and the identification partners. The dissertation also has methodical science serving as basis for the assessing the impacts of various sources of different regions. Yeah. 8.2, does the dissertation have your practical significance and 3 high curricle of applying the obtained results in practice? Yes. The dissertations has clear theoretical and development methods. This contribution advanced the theoretical understanding of environmental impact assessment and provide a basis for the scientific research in the ecology and environmental management. 9.3, or the practical recommendation novel, completely new. The practical recommendations presented in the dissertations are a novel. They include different environmental assessment method for the identifying zones or the varying impact from oil and gas activities. These recommendations have not been applied in similar studies and provide new tools for the environmental management and relations. 10, the quality of academic writing is high because the dissertation is written in clear and academically approaches language. terminology is used and the complex concepts are explained, logical and the text demonstrate enough. And and the 11 criteria comments on the dissertation. The dissertation makes and scientific contribution to both science and the practice, novel methods for the solving the inverse problem of the environmental assessment, their development and validate. Practical recommendation for the environmental management, including implementation of the polluter pays principles and the optimizations of environmental payments are original. The writing is high academic quality and important statements and well supported by references to relevant literature, tables and the methodological descriptions are clearly presented of the results. The 12 criteria. 12 criteria. The doctoral candidate research addressed the assessment of the ecological state of territories in Mangostal region based on various topics of environmental monitoring. The work develops novel methods for the solving the inverse problem of comprehensions of particle environmental assessment, individual contributions of overall environmental impacts, which is essential for the implementing polluter pays principle. Yeah, two main approaches are approach that general integral assessment and differentiated spatial assessment, both based expert environmental evolution map. The methodology employs GIS-based transformations of cartographic data into quantitative forms, objective function modeling, and every ensure scientific rigor. The candidate publications present the theoretical foundations, detailed conclusions on the interpretations of the results. The research provides reliable tools for the environmental management and the constitutions and the scientific contribution of the theory and the practice of ecological assessment. And the third criterion is recommendations that Есполаева A.R. by conferred the degree of Doctor of Philosophy PhD in the specialty of 6D060600 ecology. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nancy Infante, for your review and your full answer for our dissertation. According to the review, there are no comments on the dissertation, but have some suggestions. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Your suggestions for dissertation. And the applicant's dissertation was posted on the online platform 1 month period to the definite. Feedback and reviews were given on the dissertation. Now let's move on the general discussion. Who would like to give an opinion? The dissertation members, who says about the dissertation, maybe have some opinion. If not some opinion, maybe I can started some opinion. I believe them.
I could tell something, please?
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, please, your opinions. Yes. Yes, Professor Bakhtiar
So,
Kubayevich.
thank you very much, Ms. Chairwoman. So, first of all, I would like to reiterate that this work is very, very good. I like this dissertation work because it concerns very, very actual problem for almost all Central Asian countries, especially Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, who are not far from this area, from this to say region where dissertation work was conducted. Yeah, and we know that Uzbekistan has also a lot of gas and oil production areas and production to say for example, during the last years, we conduct a lot of work in order to find oil and gas resources and to increase our to say income from this source of natural resources. The same, I would say, for Turkmenistan. And then in this regard, the results of this dissertation, I think, should be used more widely in all our republics, maybe also in southern Russia, where the regional climate is similar to this area. So therefore, I believe that if we will develop cooperation between the to say pretendants, to say Есполаева А.Р, yeah. So I think this will be for the benefit of Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan and for the whole Central Asia region. So at the end, I would recommend to our consul to say to approve this dissertation work, and I think the Есполаева А.Р. Брискуловна deserves the scientific degree, PhD, Doctor of Philosophy in ecology. Yeah, in ecology. Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kuromboyevich, your opinion and your warm words for dissertation. Thank you very much, your attention. Gulmira Kalmashevna, you have some opinion?
Добрый вечер, дорогие коллеги. Я поддерживаю.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. And I believe that the doctorate students have demonstrated from academic communities and professionalism. Over the course of 10 years, they conducted extensive research in the study area, which reflects both the depth of their experiences and the continuity of their scientific interest. Thank you very much your opinion and your attention. And if there are no more speakers, then let's move on the secret voting. The voting is carried out online by all members of the dissertation community and official reviewers. The scientific secretary will send everyone a link for online voting via Gmail. Please do not announce your own voting decision out loud. And BRIC is announced for secret online voting. We ask temporary members and reviewers to remain in the Zoom conference and vote at the same time. Please do not leave the conference. According to the regulation on the dissertation council of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, there are 4 opinions for the decision of the dissertation council. First, award the degree of Doctors of Philosophy, PhD. Second, return the dissertation for revision. Third, submit the dissertation for defense. Fourth, refuse to award the degree of Doctors of Philosophy, PhD. You need to choose one of the options provided. The decision of the council to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, is considered exception if 3/4 or more of the participants in the voting have voted for it. The decision of the council to refuse to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy or Doctor of Science in the field is considered applied if two, 3 or more of the people participating in the voting vote for it. Please choose your opinion on the online. Gmail, your Gmail. Dear members of the dissertation council, all votes have been received. The floor is given to the scientific secretary to announce the result of the secretary online voting.
Thank you, dear members of dissertation council. Of the 7 members of dissertation council and 2 reviewers, 9 participants took part in online voting. By the results online voting, the decision to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy was voted for by 9% for 100% for this decision to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Thank you, Irene Yenbek. Based on the completed data and the result of secret online voting, the dissertation council for the group of the education program AD07 third 04 land management, AD07 third 02 geoinformatics, AD07 303 cartography, AD1101 6D10200 tourism, AD01503 geography, AD05202 6D06090 geography, AD05207 6D06080 ecology, and AD05203 6D06100 hydrology, AD05204 meteorology, AD07301 6D07110 geodesy at Alpha Arabica National University. Edwards Есполаева A.R. Riskulovu, the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD in the education program 6D06080 ecology. Congratulations. The application given the final words.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to support me. Thank you.
Yes, so thank you. Don't worry, Agirim. We begin to discuss the conclusion of the dissertation council. What comments and additional will you have? And the some conclusions we are showed on the screen. Dear colleagues, maybe you have some comments or recommendation for then complete better our conclusion. If we don't have some comments, we decide state on the view this conclusion.
No
Are
comment.
Are you satisfied?
No, it's okay.
It's okay, thank you very much. Let's look at the classification future of the dissertation. Classification future of the dissertation. First point, characteristic of dissertation result. First, new scientific-based results that solve an important scientific problem. Second, continue use scientifically based results, the use of which provide a solution to an important applied problem. Third, new scientifically sustained theoretical and or experimental results, the total of which is important for the development of specific scientific areas. Choose 1 point. Dear colleagues,
Yeah, 1.2, I think.
point 2. All members in this support this decision. We agree? Okay, 1.2.
Yes,
Second,
1.2, yeah.
thank you. Second point, level of novelty of the dissertation result. 2.1, the result in new. 2.2, some results are not new. Second point 3, a significant part of the result is not new.
2.1.
2.1,
Yeah.
all members support this decision. Dear colleagues,
Yes.
thank you. Second point 1. Third point, value of the dissertation results. Third point 1, high side. Third point 2, satisfactory. Third point 3, unsatisfactory. Choose 1 point.
3.1, I think.
Yeah.
Dear colleagues,
Yes. Yes.
thank you. We decided and third point 1 high. Third point, connection of the dissertation topic with planned research. Of 4.1, the topic is included in state and regional scientific and scientific technical program or international research program. Second, the topic is included in the fundamental research program, industry program, plans of scientific organization and higher education institution. Third, proactive work. Choose 1 point, dear colleagues. I think second point.
I think so too.
Thank you very much. 6 point, level of implementation, use of the dissertation result with applied significant. First, at the international level. Second, at the intersectoral level. Third, on an industrial scale. Third, with the organization. Choose 1 point.
Oh,
Maybe second point. 5.2. Dear colleagues, your opinion?
5.2.
yeah, this is the most appropriate point. The rest are not they're not passing the rest. Only 5.2.
Yes, 5.2, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Maybe.
Point. Recommendation for the explained use of the result of the dissertation of practical importance. 6.1 required expanded use. 6.2 doesn't not required expanded use.
Yeah, of course, 6.1.
Yeah. 6.1, yeah.
Colleagues, and we have void our decision. Look for the screen and have some decision. Your wake up your hand. Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Dear colleagues, thank you very much your opinion, your attention, and we're so proud for our dissertant doctorate, and Maybe we have some opinion. There is I think all members of the dissertation council offered reviews and supervisor for your activity participant. Thank you your opinion, your time, and will be connect in the future for joint project, maybe joint article. Bye bye, see you late. And bye bye, see you late, maybe other dissertation work.
See you.
Dear
Goodbye.
colleagues,
Our
we
congratulations.
Bye bye.
in
Congratulations
our
and
university
bye bye.
like Baikal.
Yes.
Thank you.
I give you our congratulations.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.